Hi, welcome to our training regarding the school-based mental health qualified grant program. We are hoping that this training can help you as you are working through the Utah grants management system for this grant. So we're going to jump into some details regarding the different programs and where to find things within Utah grants. But first I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Tiana McCall. I am USBE's new school social work and school-based mental health specialist. And I am going to be taking on the oversight and management of this grant program. So I'll go ahead and let our other two friends introduce themselves, and then we'll jump right into the content.
So I am Ashley Lauer. I am a behavior specialist with the Safe and Healthy Schools team at the Utah State Board of Education and have been helping support this grant at USBE.
And I'm Tracy Peterson, and I am a grant manager. I help administer the system, the Utah grant system. So when you call and ask questions, it's myself or my manager, Rebecca Nelson, who is the system administrator for Utah grants, that you are talking with and that we are helping you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tracy and Ashley. So we'll go ahead and just jump right into the training. So in this training, we're going to be going over the Utah Grants Management setup and the different programs that are within Utah Grants for this grant. For this grant, there are two main programs and one optional program. So the two main programs are the 25% lump sum program and the 75% reimbursement program. And then the optional program is an additional allocation, and we'll go into some more details about the three different programs.
Thank you, Tiana. So as she said, there are three different programs in Utah Grants Management. The first one we're going to discuss is the 25% program. You'll see here the name of this program as you'll see it in Utah Grants. So it's 21 PUV school-based mental health qualified, 25% LSNA, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. So the 22 is representative of the fiscal year. So this program that we're looking at is for fiscal year 22. The PUV is the code that you will always see associated with this grant. And then you have the school-based mental health qualified that gives you a little bit more detail about what this program is. The 25% is that it represents the 25% program, and we'll talk a little bit more about what LSNA is representative of. But this again is the title that you'll see in Utah Grants Management for this program. It is 25% of your total award for this grant, and that is the approved amount from your application or annual plan update for this fiscal year, which, as we're talking about today, is fiscal year 22. The unrestricted indirect cost rates does apply to this program if your LEA has unrestricted indirect costs. And that is something that you will calculate after receiving the funding in the 25% program. I told you we talk about the LSNA a little bit more. So that stands for lump sum, no application. So for this program, you will be provided this funding in lump sum, and you will not have to have an application in Utah Grants. It's provided again in lump sum, and it will appear on a monthly allotment memo near the beginning of this fiscal year. That each year will be either during late summer or early fall. This year, you should have received your funding for the 25% program on the July allotment memo. Now we'll move forward to the 75% program.
All right, so again, just like Ashley described, this heading on this slide is the wording that you'll see in the Utah Grants Management System. The change here is at the end, the 75%, and then the REIMB, and that stands for reimbursement. So we'll go into the details of this grant program. So this is 75% of your total award. Unrestricted indirect costs are automatically applied to the program. Again, just like Ashley mentioned with the 25% program, if this is applicable to your LEA. This program, you do have to submit an application in Utah Grants, and you do that by attaching a PDF of the approved application that was approved earlier. And then you have to put in your input. You have to input your budget information. This program also requires that you verify your hiring. So we send out a hiring documentation survey. This was previously called the second distribution survey, but this fiscal year we're changing it to just be hiring documentation survey. And this is a Qualtrics survey. This is where you're going to verify your hires and contracted services. And then for this program, because it's a reimbursement program, you have to request reimbursement through Utah Grants, and this is available through June 30th of the current fiscal year. We will not approve any reimbursements until your hires and contracted services have been verified through the hiring documentation survey.
So lastly, we'll talk about this third program, which is the additional allocation program. As Tiana mentioned earlier, this is an optional program. And so not every LEA will see this program in Utah Grants Management. This program is, this additional allocation is only available if there's an excess of funding following the application cycle. So after all new applications and annual plan updates are approved and the budget amount for each LEA is approved, there can be funding that's left over. And that funding that is left over is then redistributed to LEAs who request that as the additional allocation. It should be considered one-time funds, as the amount available will fluctuate each year. And it must be requested by your LEA on the application or annual plan update that you fill out each May for the next year. There must be an indication on your application or annual plan update as well that you intend to collaborate with the local mental health authority. Again, unrestricted indirect costs, the unrestricted indirect cost rate applies to this program. And this, along with the 25% program, it's similar to that program in that this funding is provided in lump sum and there's no application required in Utah Grants. Lastly, it will be provided in a lump sum through Utah Grants by October 1st of each year. So you should, again, receive that funding on an allotment memo by October 1st of each year. So now I will turn the time over to Tracy Peterson to share with us what you'll actually see in Utah Grants Management and help us navigate Utah Grants Management.
Thank you. Okay, let me share my screen. All right, here we are inside of Utah Grants. I am currently logged in a testing environment to show you what you're going to see on your side of the system. I am logged in under Alpine School District, so the information you're going to see here is actually specific to them.
We don't see your screen, Tracy.
Okay.
Oh, here it comes.
Do we see it now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. My apologies. I think I've shared the wrong screen. Can you see Utah Grants? Are you seeing a Word document?
We're seeing task summary by phase in Utah Grants.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you. All right. I am not used to the Zoom, so my apologies. Okay, I am inside of Utah Grants here, and I'm logged in under Alpine School District. Now, we're going to start the application process. This is for this 75% program. So I'm going to come to applications at the top. And then on the left sidebar, I'm going to click on pending tasks. It's here that I then see this particular application that I'm looking for. So this is the 22 PUV, school-based mental health qualified, 75% reimbursable program. So at the end of this program line, I click on the green play button. It asks me if I want to start this application, and I'm going to answer yes. Now, by answering yes, I've become the owner of this application, And that means that I need to be the one who completes this application. The application appears and you'll notice that you've got these red dots or orange dots. It just means that you need to complete something on those specific tabs. So here I'm inside the application and I'm going to get started. So up here in the right corner, I'm going to click on Edit. And then I'm going to wait for the system to open the application so that I can actually enter stuff into it. All right. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is one of the requirements is that you need to put in a project abstract. For today's training, I'm just going to type in the word project abstract. Okay. Now, before I navigate away from this specific tab, and what I mean by that is I'm on the overview tab, I'm going to save. Okay. So I click save. And on the overview tab, I've completed the requirements that are necessary on that particular tab. I'm now going to move over to my budget tab. And here I need to complete the budget narrative and this budget table. So to touch the budget narrative, I again have to click the edit button in the top right corner. And the budget narrative is simply explaining your budget. So again, for today's purposes, I'm just going to type in budget narrative. And then you have to hit save. Now that I've done that, I can then now take care of the actual physical budget down here. So I'm going to click on these blue pencils, blue pens, whatever you want to call them, at the end of each line. And what I need to do is I need to show in this table this whole entire amount of this $1,865,340. Okay, so I'm going to click on the blue pencil and I'm just going to put in a dollar amount. And this is very much not, there is absolutely no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing at this point in time. Just for training purposes, just trying to make this as easy as possible. Okay, every once in a while you'll want to save. And the reason why I say that is because if you have an indirect cost rate percentage, it calculates based off of what you've got here in your budget table. Now, according to what we have with this budget table, we've got salaries, benefits, purchase professional and tech services, and this other. Indirect costs are going to calculate on these top three, okay? This other category right here will not calculate indirects, which that's why it says not eligible for indirect costs, okay? So I need to see here that I've put some numbers in. The system has automatically calculated my indirect cost amount based off of my percentage that I see up here. And I can see that I've over budgeted already because this is in the negative. So I'm going to do some adjusting here. And I'm going to drop my numbers down so that I can come to a nice big zero. Okay, I'm still so far. Let's try that number and see if this works better. So you can see that with what I'm doing here, that you have to play around a little bit with this, and that's just what you have to do. All right, at this point in time, I'm going to show you what this other category does. So I have a remaining budget of $82,000, okay? Again, the indirect cost rate is calculating on these top three lines. So the reason why I'm showing you the other category is some of you will come to the point where you have a penny or possibly 2 pennies that you will not be able to actually physically put inside of these other cost categories. If you put the 2 pennies in, it will then show that you're negative up here and you'll get frustrated. In those situations, what you'll want to do is you'll want to put the positive 2 pennies in your other category, okay? It just helps with rounding because sometimes we recognize that the rounding that there were rounding issues within the system. And so that's one of the reasons why we had this cost category of other put into the applications, so that it could take care of that situation, okay? Today's example, I'm just using the whole $82,000 just to move us along. So again, the top three budget categories are calculating the indirects, and that's the amount we have down here, okay? Now that I see that my remaining budget is 0, I know that I can now move forward to the next step. Ashley and Tiana mentioned that there is an attachment with this application that is a requirement to submit the application. So I'm going to come here to the attachment tab, and right here in the attachments from grantor, I see that I've got something that I need to complete. So I click on the view attachment. And from there, this is a PDF. I would suggest what you do at this point in time is that you click up here, you click on this down arrow for this download. With PDFs, we have found that the best thing for you to do is to save it on your hard drive or on any drive, open up that particular thing off of your drive, fill it out, save it, and then reattach it back into the application. We have had problems in the past where folks come out here and they start this PDF application here and then try to reattach it. And when they do, it shows up blank. So the actual physical parts that you enter in here will not show up on what you save inside of Utah Grants. So that was my suggestion is you download it, you save it to a hard drive. From there, you open it off of your hard drive, complete it, save it, come back to Utah Grants, and then you're going to attach it. So right here, your attachments for grantor. So we're going to pretend that I completed that PDF application. Right here on my attachments for grantor, I'm going to come over here to the right and click on add. And I'm going to choose what I'm actually attaching. So in this situation, it's an application. I'm going to choose my file. So I'm going to go out to where I was just at, where I saved it on my hard drive, attach it, and then I'm going to put a description. So I'm just going to put application again and hit save. And now that I've done that, I have to close that window. It stays open until you're done attaching documents. At that point, once I close it, you can see that it shows down here on attachments for grantor, okay?
Tracy, can I add one thing really quickly?
Yes, please.
Yes, for this grant specifically, there will be an annual plan update each year. And so the LEA will be able to download their annual plan update for each year and add that in as a PDF of that annual plan update for their grant for each year.
Okay, perfect. One more thing that I want to mention, back here on your overview tab, you'll want to pay attention to who your internal approver is. So right here for Alpine School District, it's assigned this to Robert Smith, and it assigns it to your key point of contact that we have within Utah Grants. So whomever that is, it's going to assign it to that specific person. Now, if you are the key point of contact and you need to assign it to someone else, this is how you'll change it. So back here on the overview tab, I'm going to put myself in edit mode. And it's then that the field for internal approver opens up. I need to remove that person's name completely and then click the magnifying glass. It will then open up this window and it will show me who I can select. And these are folks that have been designated as approvers within Utah Grants. So you'll select one of these folks. I'm just going to select Robert Smith again, just because I have credentials for him in a testing environment. But that shows you how you will change your internal approver within this system, okay? I am completely done with this application at this time. So I'm first going to save this particular tab. to make sure that the information on this tab stays as exactly as I had entered it. And it's at that point I can come up here and submit for approval. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I get asked the question, submit for application for internal approver, and I'm going to say yes. So at this point in time, because I've designated Robert Smith as my internal approver, it is sending him a pending task that he will go out and he will approve. He himself will go to applications here at the top, and on the left, he will also go to pending tasks. Just like you, he saw a line that said 22 PUV, school-based mental health qualified, 75 reimbursable, 2022, a line. At the end of that line will be a green play button, and he will click that play button. It will open up and it will look just like what we see here, only he will have, the internal approver will have some questions. It will have an approval question right here. So it will either say approve, reject, or to send back. They will click the button next to whatever they decide. And then over here in the middle right, they will then type in the word approved, or if there's anything that they want to say, they can say whatever, or put their initials. It's up to them. And then they hit submit. It is after that process, after the internal approver approves it, that it will then come to the program manager here at Utah Grants, at the State Board of Education. So real quickly, the process that happens on our side of it is that it will come to the program person here at Utah Grants. They will review the application, and they will either decide to approve the application, or they will send the application back to you for a revision, okay? When they approve the application, it will then move forward to 2 more approvals. It will go to our financial operation folks, and 2 more people within the financial operations will approve it. It is after the second person approves it that the program is fully awarded, and you will then the owner of the application will receive an email saying that it's been fully awarded. And it's at that point in time that you can go out and you can start doing reimbursement requests. And you can also look for the actual award within the system. As a side caveat, I want to show you how you can find an application without becoming an owner. If anybody just wants to look at this application to see what it entails without becoming the owner, they simply click on applications at the top. They find the program from the list that drops below, and they click the green eye at the end of that line. Again, that allows them to look inside the application to see specifics, but it doesn't make them the owner, okay? All right, where you're gonna find these where you're gonna find the award on your side of things is you're going to come to this grant tab here. And I'm going to show you what it looks like for last year. Okay, so the 21 PUV program. So again, I came to the grant tab. I'm going to type in my search box 21 PUV, and I'm going to hit the magnifying glass. Okay, because it's in the grants tab, I know that this has been awarded fully. Okay, so it's here that I can go to the end of the program line and click the green eye. And within here, this is where you're going to find your award letter. Okay, so I'm now inside the approved award. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the award tab, excuse me. And on the award tab, I'm going to click the line that says activated. And then on the overview tab, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see right here where it says award finance code. The end of that line, you will see this link that says letter. This is your award letter. So I'm going to go ahead and click on it. So here you can see the award letter, okay? And within the award letter, something that you're going to want to also be aware of is this district program revenue code. So right here within your award letter, you're going to find your district program and your revenue code. Okay. All right. I'm going to close out of, I'm going to go back from here. A side note in regards to indirects, as mentioned earlier by Tiana and Ashley, both the 75% and 25%, 22 PUV, have been assigned with the unrestricted indirect cost rate. On the 75% program, you will have to actually, it will be accounted within, the system will help populate that amount for you if you have an unrestricted indirect cost rate for the fiscal year 22. That will be on your reimbursable program, on the 75% program. On the 25% program, we've also established that there is unrestricted indirect cost rates, but because you're not completing an application, there's nowhere within a budget within Utah grants that you're going to show how much is going towards indirects. In that situation, the indirect is accounted on your side within your own internal accounting system. So please be aware of that both of them have the unrestricted indirect cost rate. It's on the 75% program that you're going to see it on the budget table, and you're going to have to account for it if you have a rate. On your 25% lump sum no app program, it's there, but within Utah grants, you don't account for it. You account for it within your own internal accounting system. Okay. Also, you can find your lump sum no app programs here, also in the grants tab. I'm not going to be able to show you last year's 25% for Alpine, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to type in a different program that you may be aware of. I typed in for the driver's ed. So right here, excuse me, that's incorrect. When you know the program name, you can type in the program name up here in the grants, and then it will pull it up. Again, you can look for the title, and you can click on the green eye at the end of the line. It'll look very similar to what we looked at for the reimbursable program, where you're going to come in here. You're going to go to your awards tab. On your awards tab, you will click on the top green eye, the one that has the status of activated. And on the overview tab, you'll scroll down, and under the award finance code table, far right, you're going to see a link to a letter, and that's what you're going to click on. And that's how you'll find the 25% lump sum no app program. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move us forward to what a reimbursement looks like. And this is specifically for the 75% program. So to do a reimbursement, I'm going to come to monitoring, and then I need to find the program down here in the list that populates. A couple of ways to find things faster is if you click on the column headers, it organizes it, it sorts it in such a way. So I'm looking for 22 PUV. So I can go through all of these pages and look and try to find it. There is we can do that, excuse me. Let me find it real quick here. And I apologize. There are a lot of programs within Utah grants. So you will see this exact same thing when you come into Utah grants, if you have a lot of programs in here. We are working on trying to get programs closed down so that this list is not as big as you're currently seeing it. Okay, so again, I'm looking for 21 PUV because the 22 PUV hasn't been fully awarded within our testing environment that we're showing you today. So I have found the line that I'm looking for. I've found the program that I'm looking for. On that program, I need to click this plus sign that's on the left of the line. So I click on it, and a table drops below. It is the green eye at the end of that table that I have to click. If you click this green eye up here, you're not going to get very far within making a reimbursement request, and you'll get frustrated. So if you remember to click the plus sign, go to the table that drops below, and then go to the green eye at the end of that line. When you click on it, it will open up a reimbursement request. So again, here's my reimbursement request. This is an overview page. I'm going to go to my requests tab. And here, I'm going to go over to the right and click on New Payment Request. Okay. And when that refreshes, I can then enter in information. Here you have an internal invoice number. That's something that you choose yourself within your organization. So invoice 1234. You're going to select your internal approver. Again, the system's going to automatically put in your key point of contact in here. If it needs to change, you're going to remember to remove their name, click the magnifying glass, and then select from the list that populates. So again, I'm just going to pick Robert Smith just to show you what you need to do, and hopefully you get that. I'm going to pick my expense fiscal year. So in this situation, 21 PUV was applicable in fiscal year 2021. So I'm going to come here. I'm actually going to click on the magnifying glass. Please remember that do not type anything in here on the expense fiscal year. You have to click the magnifying glass for this to work. I'm going to select fiscal year 2021, and then I'm going to put my dates in. So I'm going to say January 1st, 2021 through 6/30/2021. Okay. And these dates have to be within this time frame. Okay. So if I got all of that correct, I'm going to hit save. And then when the screen refreshes, we could then are going to move over to the budget tab, the financials tab in this situation, excuse me, to enter in how much money we're going to ask for reimbursement. So again, when the page refreshed, I was on the overview tab. I clicked on the financials tab, and I'm going to come here to this reimbursement grid. So as I click the blue pencils at the end of each line, I can then enter in how much money I'm requesting for reimbursement. So here, let's just put $255,911. Okay, and then I'm going to hit save. And again, this table is the information that I put in here is going to calculate off of an indirect cost rate. For 2021, we didn't have an indirect cost rate. So I believe you're going to be accounting for it down here and the other not eligible for indirects. On your 22 PUV, things have been set up correctly, so this should act accordingly and will work correctly. So I've entered in how much money I want to be reimbursed, and I've saved it. And what I'm going to do at this point in time is I'm going to come over here to the attachments tab, and I'm going to add documentation to prove what I've put on my financials tab. So if I've paid some employees, I'm going to have documentation for employees. If I've purchased some supplies, I'm going to provide documentation from wherever I purchased those supplies from. I will add those here, and after I've added them, I will submit the request. And again, this will go to that internal approver that you selected or that was pre-populated on that overview tab. And then it is with that person at this point in time, okay? Now what I'd like to show you is the allotment memo. So within the State Board of Education, we have that website, the external website. There is an actual, I'll go actually to that website. If you come here to the Utah State Board of Education and you scroll down and you find the tile that says financial operations, on that tile, after you click on it, over here on your far right, you're going to click on the Minimum School Program MSP, okay? Then on this particular tab right here that says Monthly Allotment Memo, you're going to click on this. What I'm showing you here is the Monthly Allotment Memo, and specifically how you've already been paid for your 22 PUV, the 25% program. They were paid out in July, so click here on the Monthly Allotment Memo, and I'm going to find the actual spreadsheet for that period that I'm looking for. So I'm going to click on fiscal year 2022. As I do so, it will populate down here in the far left corner. And I've already done this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pull it over so that you can see it. So here is the allotment memo, and every single subrecipient has a tab. So if you'll need to know what your district number is, I don't think I said the right word there, your ID number. So here I'm on 010. This is specific for Alpine School District. And to find the 22 PUV, you can do a Control F, and you can just type in 22 PUV, find next, and then it will show it to me, okay? And I pulled up the wrong one, so let me pull up the correct one. I highlighted this so that you could see exactly what you've been paid. Okay, so this is July's allotment memo, and here is the line for 22. So this is the one that's specific for the 25% program. So this shows that in the month of July, the Alpine School District, that they were paid that $621,000. And if I scroll back up on this specific, the column for I, it will show me what the current month is. That means that that's what was paid in that particular month. Now, if you aren't the BA, it's typically the BA that knows what the allotment memo is and where to find it. But just so you know, this is where the allotment memo is and what the information that you have thereon. I'm going to show you one more thing within Utah Grants that can assist you in regards to your processes for things. It's this very last tab here that's called Analytics. So on this Analytics tab, after you click on it, you're going to come over here to the far left that says Grant Summary Report. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open up a report that you'll actually find very useful within your job responsibilities. So up here in the program ID, program title, I'm going to type the program name. And it doesn't have to be the entire name. I can put in just keywords. So for me, I'm going to put in 21 PUV, and then I'm going to hit search. And it's going to locate any program that I have for my specific LEA, the information that's been in Utah Grants. So here, after I put that in, you can see that there's 3 things that showed up. And we can see within that what we've been paid and what's going on, okay? Here we've got the 21 PUV lump sum no WAP, okay? It shows that for fiscal year 21, that Alpine was awarded $624,000 and that they have been paid $624,000, okay? This is also showing us the reimbursement, the reimbursable program, the 75% one. And here, what shows us that they were awarded 1.8 million. And at this point in time, they've been paid 1.4 million. And that they have a remaining amount of 465,000. So this report helps you to know what you might still have sitting out there that you need to request payment for. And then you can move forward with that. So this is a very good report that I would strongly suggest you using. And with that, I think that I'm gonna turn the time back over to Yana to wrap up.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. That was super helpful, especially for me as I'm jumping in and taking over kind of the grant management of this. It's helpful for me to see the LEA's perspective as well. So thank you so much for that. Thank you all for attending this training or listening to this training. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions or comments regarding information that we shared today. You can reach out to us. Ashley, could you put that slide up with the contact information? Let me see if I can do that. Hold on.
Tiana, how do I stop sharing? Maybe that would help.
I think I took over. Do you see my screen now?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. You can reach out to the SBMH qualified at schools.utah.gov if you have questions about the grant. If you have questions about Utah Grants Management System, feel free to reach out to utahgrants@schools.utah.gov. So again, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you soon. Thanks.